Hello foodie friends. So have you ever just had one of those weeks? So in picking out my lavender recipes for this month, I also was picking things out for my tea time series. However, I was unable to actually film a tea time series this week because our air conditioning unit had a part that needed to be repaired and it just wasn't working that good. And of course, they had to order the part, so we had a few days in which we didn't really have air conditioning, and there's no way I wanted to turn that oven on during that because, as you know, it seems like one oven can just heat up your entire house to boiling. So I decided not to have a tea time this coming week and thought, that's okay, I'll just go ahead and make what I was going to make for the Friday video because I found this really cute little book at a used bookstore and I thought it sounded just perfect for that series, but I really didn't want to, waste that recipe. So I had everything I needed, so let's just go ahead and do it. And I thought lavender orange biscuits sounds wonderful. Oh my gosh, you could serve them for dinner, you could have them for breakfast, it doesn't matter, except as I started reading the recipe, something wasn't quite hitting me right because I was thinking that's actually not how you make a biscuit. So something is really off about this recipe until I realized that this book was published in the United Kingdom, where biscuits over there means cookie over here. So that's what we're going to make, just a cookie. It sounds like a really good cookie, so I'm not too upset about it, but we're certainly not going to be able to have them for dinner or breakfast, which, I guess technically you can because, who's around to stop you? If you want to go ahead and have cookies for dinner, I say once in a while go for it, but it wasn't exactly what I had planned. Also, for some of you, I know I've had a little bit of problem with my comment section lately, and it's mostly YouTube's fault. I've had a few glitches trying to upload some of my videos lately, which some of you may have noticed I had to take some down and then re-upload and try again. But I do want to tell you that I did see everyone's comments that actually left a comment, but on some of your comments, every time I would try to reply, YouTube would just refuse to show me the comment anymore. So it was there, and then I'd click on it to try to reply, and then suddenly it would disappear. And it did that several times, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared forever. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but I do want to tell you that I do appreciate all of your comments. I read all of them, and I also try to respond to all of them. So if I didn't, just know I really tried. I did read it, but for whatever reason this week, YouTube just did not want to cooperate. So hopefully for the next videos going forward, YouTube has fixed that glitch and whatever happened is over and I'll be able to comment again. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that one. But as for the cookies, let's go ahead, turn this camera around, and we're gonna get started on a British biscuit that turned out to be a cookie.
First, go ahead and cut your room temperature butter into cubes. This will make it a little easier for your food processor. I also use my cute little egg separator to go ahead and separate out my egg yolks. And we'll also go ahead and grate the orange peel off of both of our oranges. I like to get as much prepped before I start the recipe as I can, which is why I'm also going to go ahead and shake off my lavender. Now the orange and lavender will be put into the dough at the same time, so I just went ahead and made it snow lavender on top of the orange. Now you'll scoop out your sugar. These measurements may seem a little odd, but they were translated from the original grams that is used in Britain, which is why you see me putting the extra tablespoon in there to make up the full amount. Now we can actually get started. So go ahead and put your flour and butter into your food processor and pulse that until well blended together. And then you can add your remaining ingredients. I started with the sugar and then added the egg yolks, the lavender, and orange peel. Now it's going to seem like it's not going to form into a dough because there's not enough wet ingredients. But I was pleasantly surprised to see that the orange peel actually was enough to pull it together. Next, you'll take your dough, pack it together, put it into a bag, and let that sit in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. And since these are cut out cookies, let's go ahead and pick out our cookie cutters. I went for a round, but I also saw this cute little star that I wanted to use, and so decided to go for kind of an unofficial full moon and star theme. Now once your 30 minutes are up, let's go ahead and flour a surface. We'll put your dough on top, and then roll it out to about a 1/2 inch. Cut out your cookies. Then we'll take our scraps and form it back into a ball, re-roll, and try to get as many cookies out of this as we can. And it's up to you as to how many times you actually want to re-roll, but I usually go until I just can't squeeze another cookie out of it. Next, you'll put them on a parchment sheet lined cookie sheet and bake at 350 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes. Once done, allow them to cool off, transfer to a plate, pour yourself a cup of tea, and let's enjoy.
Okay, so I thought we would just go full British and get our cups of tea ready and have our biscuits. Now, I was assuming we were gonna have like a full spread dinner and the biscuits on the side. But no, surprise, it's a cookie. So let's just dig in.
Have a cookie.
Okay, still a little warm. So it's probably a little bit harder to get
A good
the
read
full
on it.
taste of it.
Right.
Yeah, because we probably should have, like, you know us. Do we ever let anything cool off around here before we just go ahead and start eating it? So there's that. It's probably a little warm. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about the orange flavor.
Really?
I think if it was lemon, I know we love like lemon. We've made so much stuff with lemon and lavender. It's hard to get away from it.
I think the lemon would highlight the lavender a little better. I think the orange overpowers the lavender a little bit.
Yes.
Like, you can tell there's lavender in there, but orange is the first and the last thing you taste.
Right. You just get like a little bit of a flower note, but it doesn't draw out the fullness of what lavender can be when you're cooking with it. And I actually even put more lavender because, you know, of course I did. I put more lavender in there than the recipe called for, and I'm still getting it overpowered with the orange.
I will say, like, it's not really, like, it is like an English biscuit, something that I would have with a tea or a coffee.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
true.
something that's just like a box of cookies you open.
No,
like it's not that either. Like it's not super sweet. It's got like a, it's got a savory note to it.
Right.
It's not sweet.
I'm gonna say they're good. If you really like orange flavor,
Yeah.
I say go ahead and try it. But just know that you're gonna maybe be a little disappointed if you want a really strong lavender flavor, like we have with the bread, and that kind of thing. And so, if you want a super strong lavender, well, I shouldn't say super strong, just
stronger.
Stronger.
Like, you barely notice it in this. Honestly.
Yeah, if you want a really good, stronger lavender flavored cookie, I actually have a video on a cookie we did a couple years ago now, so I'll try to remember to link that video in the description box below if you want to try that cookie, and that one is out of this world good. Oh, it's so awesome.
That being said, this is perfectly acceptable breakfast biscuit or tea biscuit or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I'm not like, these aren't gonna go to waste.
Oh no, we're gonna eat them. Yeah, I would give this a solid. I'm gonna say this is kind of hard. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. Because the lavender cookies I made before is like, on a scale of 1 to 5, they're a 10. So, like, that cookie
I
is
think
awesome.
that's slightly exaggerated.
No, they're so good.
But
no,
it depends. I think it depends on really what you want. Like, if you want lavender, don't do this one.
Right.
If you want just barely a hint of lavender, but you like orange better, this would be perfect.
This is a good one, yeah.
For what it is, and being like, we were shooting for the lavender more so than the orange. I do think it also failed in that.
Yeah,
so,
I do too.
I think a 3.5 is fair because of the fact that like the orange is too strong and the lavender is just not strong enough in this.
Right. So there you go. We have a biscuit cookie that is really kind of perfect for your tea time or coffee time.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Again, like, I'm going to link that other cookie below if you want something that is not quite hurt your teeth sweet, but almost there with a lot of lavender. I'll link that one below. And next month is going to be a little bit special because we're going to deviate just a little bit and kind of go back into our history ones. But now I've had a couple of people request that I do wartime rationing cooking, and we will be getting to that, but I just need to do a little bit more research on that one and kind of like pull some resources and just kind of research more recipes on there and see kind of what direction I want to go with that. So we're going to study next month a cookbook that I bought the last time when we had our library book sale, and I bought this cookbook because the lady who owned it had stuffed it full of recipe clippings from her newspaper from the 40s and 50s, and she had also written tons of recipes in the margins of this cookbook. And what's kind of cool about it is there's several different handwriting styles. So the cookbook was published in 1929. Whoever first owned it, they passed it out, and whoever kept getting it, each person would write their own recipes in the margins. So next month we're going to look at that. She also put little menus, menu plans that when she had guests over. So we'll study those. We'll look at some of her recipes. We're going to pull from some of those clippings, newspaper clippings, and cook out of that. But we're also going to test the cookbook itself. So it's going to be a fun month of just dissecting the decades-long life that this cookbook has led so far. So thanks for watching this episode, and stick around because it's going to be a fun ride next month.
Yeah.
So we'll see you then. Bye.
And if you like historical cooking and unusual cookbooks, here's 2 more videos you might enjoy. And make sure to like and subscribe for more foodie adventures.